Ted Bundy was one of the most prolific criminals of the 70s who confessed to killing and raping at least 30 women in 7 different states between 1973 and 1978. But authorities suspect the number of victims is even higher than he admitted. Would you ever think that a man who was physically attractive, working for the Washington State Republican Party, and who had a charming personality could be considered one of the most horrific serial killers of all time? As a psychology major, learning about the psychological imbalances of serial killer personalities is a studied subject that I have spent a good amount of time researching. Bundy was a normal, well-rounded man who developed antisocial personality disorder, which led to the confessed slaughtering of at least 30 women. Bundy could have lived a long, productive life, but suffering from a personality disorder led him to cut his life and the lives of many women short. First, let me tell you a little about Bundy's killings. Ted Bundy is responsible for the murdering and rape of around 30 young women, as admitted by Bundy, but there is reason to believe that there could have been up to 100 women. Bundy started out by being addicted to pornography, turned into a peeping Tom, and when he was not satisfied with that anymore, he began the raping and killing of the women. He would lure unsuspecting women, sometimes with his charm and good looks, or sometimes by wearing a fake cast and asking for help, and then would beat them repeatedly, sometimes killing them before the rape. According to Time magazine, in January 1978, Bundy bludgeoned to death 2 Chi Omega sorority sisters at Florida State University in Tallahassee and seriously injured 3 other co-eds. This started Bundy's downfall, because this is the first time that all of the victims did not die. According to Jim Osborne, the author of Ted Bundy, Serial Killer, Bundy was convicted in 1979 for the murders of the Florida campus co-eds based primarily upon the evidence of a bite mark left on one of the victims that was positively identified as belonging to him and by an eyewitness who saw him in the vicinity of the college campus. Now let's talk about the psychological disorder in which Bundy suffered. Bundy suffered from antisocial personality disorder, which is someone who demonstrates lack of remorse for the harm his or her behavior causes others. Other names that are oftentimes associated with antisocial personality disorder, and sometimes may even be mistaken for by them, are psychopath and sociopath. According to the DSM-5 TR, someone who suffers from this disorder must be at least 15 years of age and portray 3 of the following disorders: failure to conform to social norms with respect to lawful behaviors as indicated by repeatedly performing acts that are grounds for arrest, deceitfulness as indicated by repeated lying, use of aliases, or conning others for personal profit or pleasure, impulsivity or failure to plan ahead, irritability and aggressiveness as indicated by repeated physical fights or assaults, reckless disregard for safety of self or others, consistent irresponsibility, as indicated by repeated failure to sustain consistent work behavior or honor financial obligations, lack of remorse, as indicated by being indifferent to or rationalizing having hurt, mistreated, or stolen from another. Since this fits the personality of most serial killers, and in this case, Ted Bundy, it is said that he suffered from it. Ted Bundy was perceived by society as a normal man who was executed with the secret of how many murders of young women he truly committed. Bundy murdered around 30 young women, 2 of which were Chi Omegas and had anti-personality disorder. Charm and good looks are not always an indicator of someone's personality. They could be hiding a deep secret and a disorder like Bundy's. Ted Bundy died at the age of 42 by electric chair, after 10 years on death row. He was only convicted of the 2 Chi Omega murders, and the others are still considered unsolved.